If you're a thought leader or business owner in this space, chances are that you have used or are considering using Facebook ads, which means that you have experienced or have heard some of the horror stories. I can tell you they are true. And today I'm actually going to be walking through Facebook ads best practices to give you some actionable tips that you can start implementing right away. I promise it's not going to be too overwhelming. So join me on this episode of the Content Toolbox. If you're new here and don't know me, I am Jen Neal, and I'm the founder of Formula Done. And what we do is we help businesses get traffic and leads online, typically using the content that they've already produced in our effective method called content activation. On today's episode, I'm actually going to walk you through part of the content activation method, specifically what we look at as the traffic trifecta. This is exactly how we run ads and take care of our done-for-you customers. I'm literally going to pull back the curtains and walk you through a customer account showing you how we have set things up and exactly how you can do the same thing to start getting better qualified leads and not spending near as much money. All right, so grab your notebook because this one's going to be a little in depth, but you can always press pause and then just keep going, right? Okay, so I would like to introduce you to the traffic trifecta. This is the traffic trifecta. It looks like a big Triforce logo. Kind of by design that way. Yes. Anyway, what this is, I'm going to walk you through here. This is actually kind of how we look at running traffic for customers. And I'm going to show you kind of how it fits into the big picture. What we're looking at here is combining organic traffic, meaning things that can be searched and found on Google, namely, right? We're talking about doing a little light SEO work. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you like write a full blog. I know it's a 4-letter word. Okay, so then we're also going to combine the power of social media. So social media posts, not necessarily what we look at is not necessarily for engagement and following and all of that kind of stuff, but really what we're trying to do is use those posts to help increase our audience and reach. And then we use paid ads to take them off the platform and convert them either to our opt-in or to our sales page or whatever it is that we're promoting, right? So the way that this fits into your business, and I've done other trainings on this around the content activation formula, so I'm going to kind of skim over it right now. But really how this fits in is this is the traffic trifecta. And if you consider like this is your whole sales and marketing like plan, right? So if we take out all of the shiny stuff, what we're left with here is really, looks like we have this green triangle, but I want you to pay attention to the white triangle because what all of these things do when you're using all of those pieces together is it actually like draws traffic in. So we have an arrow there showing that we are actually pulling traffic down. So if you consider that out here, all of your customers and prospects are living out here in cyberland, right? We want to do things that are going to get them to take notice, turn their attention towards us, right? And then they're actually going to get sucked in through our traffic trifecta laser beam because it's freaking awesome. All of our amazing free content, right? So they're going to get sucked into your world. Consider this all of your free content and things that are out there for people to absorb. They are going to swim around in here and look at, listen to, watch, play, whatever it is, with all the information that you're offering up front, right? And then at some point they are going to engage, meaning consider these like your different offers. These are different opt-ins. Here's a paid program, like here's your highest paid program. At some point they're going to sort of like jump and they're going to pay to come across this barrier, either with money or with their email address. So they're just paying, and remember that they will come and kind of like bounce around. They'll continue to hang out here with your content, which is amazing. What we don't want them to do is go back out here into Cyberland and get lost out there, right? Because we have a nice, cozy, comfy little world. And the thing that draws them all in is using this traffic trifecta. So that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through now. So this is the content activation formula, kind of a visualization of how traffic flows online. So I won't walk you through all of that right now, but what we are going to look at is ads, right? So let's go look at how some ads are actually set up. And let's start talking about some of the do's and don'ts. So we want to keep people on your social platforms as much as possible. And then when they do go off, we want to take them to a value first like where we're providing great information. So places that value first information comes up, articles on your website, blog posts, other things that can show up in organic type search, because we want to make sure we're catching those people that are like searching for you offhand. So the places that can show up are YouTube and your social profiles, and then website articles and things, right? So we want to make sure that anytime we're posting content on those, it's optimized. So what we do is we actually create value first content from working with our customers. We take a video that they did, we actually write an article, and we create a YouTube video, and we create optimized posts and optimize their profiles and things so that where people are searching for this, we know that they're going to find us, and it's optimized for words that people are searching for. So we're speaking their language, we're capturing the people that are like searching on Google. They see something, they're like, that looks interesting, but I don't want to click on that Facebook ad, so I'm going to go search them, right? So that's what we're doing is trying to grab this organic search, as well as sending traffic from social media to these articles, because they are not penalized as much as if we're just trying to take them off and convert them from an opt-in or a sales page or whatever. So the next thing that we want to do is social media. And I mentioned before that we, as an agency at Formula Done, we are not focused on building a huge following. What we are focused on is having a place where people are like, oh yeah, this is legit. Oh, those messages resonate with me, where they're going to spend some time engaging with your posts on social media. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool. They either go Google search you or they click on a paid ad. So we want to capture both, right? So that's our final part here is paid ads. So if you just think about when you're setting up your traffic strategy, don't just go right to ads, because when you use your social and you use what's happening in organic here, it actually is warming people up before they get to you. So that's how you're creating more qualified leads. And it cuts your ad costs, right? So I'm going to show you exactly how we are cutting ad costs here. So we actually use existing content to build audiences. So what I have running here are, so we do a couple of things. One, we run traffic ads to the article that we wrote. And on average, we're usually spending 30-40 cents per landing page view, right? And I'll show you a little bit more on that. But what we're going to do, so traffic ads are very inexpensive, right? And what we can do in here is we actually test out different audiences. So I can test out, and I had another one running at one point. So the way I want to start is when you are very first starting with ads, is come in and set up some targeting. So do use the interest targeting, set up your locations, set up your age targeting, gender if you're after that, and then kind of look for interests that people are after, right? Now this audience, this is not showing an audience size right here, but generally when you're doing just broad sweep, like it's not a geographically targeted, you want to aim for 2 to 5 million in here. You can actually go higher, but typically the higher audiences will start to perform lesser. So it's worth testing and see if it works. But generally we try to aim for the 2 to 5 million. So we do this to kind of like reach more people. And this way we are getting more people to go to your website and look at articles, or in this case, watch videos, okay? So what we have, this is, if I just look at all of our playthrough here, so here's what I have. I'm literally running ads here at $3 a day. And in, is that 5 months, 4 months, something like that? We've spent almost $300. And we've gotten almost 180,000 video views. So the way that I've set these up is I'm just saying, hey, target these people, target these people. Now, the reason that I turned this off here is because, now if you come up here and look at your performance and clicks, right? This one was our interest audience that we used to get more people to watch videos. Then we have people clicking through from the video to the website, which is training the pixel. We have people watching the videos, which is also increasing our video view audience. So I'll show you that in a sec. But what we want to do is look here and go, okay, the way that these were performing. So my cost per click is much higher on this audience, but I'm not necessarily trying to get clicks off of this. I'm trying to build an audience. So being that that is my goal, what I want to do is look at my cost per result, right? So in this case, we have cost per through play. So we do generally 10 to 30-second videos. So we want people to watch those videos, little snippets that get their interest, and then they're like, oh, I want to learn more, right? When they have watched that, then we can retarget them because they've watched our videos. So on this, our cost per through play was 10 times less on this audience. And this is the one where I'm actually using a lookalike based off of the pixel. So we started with video view audience here, doing interest based, and that started to build our audience. Once this started to underperform what was happening with our lookalike here, then I turned off this ad set. So that's why we're only running one through here. And we're getting, you know, on average, a 1/10 of a penny for our cost per through play. So that's letting us continue to build an audience and to continue to get the message out in a very cheap way. Now, these are not necessarily conversions. So the other thing that we do here, so I was testing the video view lookalike versus the pixel lookalike. For this customer, the pixel lookalike has been winning. And so we can look here at our performance and clicks. So on this case, we actually want to optimize for clicks, because in this case, we want to get people traffic ads through to our website where they're going to read more information. So on this, our cost per click is much lower on this one, and our click-through rate is higher, right? So general rule of thumb, what we want is cost per click under $1 and click-through rate over 1%, okay? So my CPM is higher here, but I'm getting a better click-through rate, not per impression, right? So because this audience is more engaged, that's why this one works, and that's why we're getting much better landing page views. Average over time, if I look at just the last 30 days, so this kind of keeps coming down as we continue optimizing our page and optimizing our pixel traffic. So this way, what we're doing is we're using these two campaigns, and we're spending almost $200 just to build audiences, right? And then what we do is we create lookalike audiences off of that, and those become, so if we look in here, so now I have lead ads set up, and I am using the combined lookalike audience to retarget off of these. And then these are the ads that we're running for our lead ads, right? What this does is, because I'm targeting an audience who's already engaged with our content or who has already engaged with our videos, then I can see, okay, I'm getting a whole lot more qualified leads, right? And our cost per result, this one here is the one that was winning quite a bit. $2.25, we actually had this down to $1.80. You know, they kind of bounce around. But what we're able to do is look at what's winning. Now, you're seeing, these are older ones here. So these started working. This one was completely outperforming, and then the price started going higher, okay? So if I look at this here in terms of just the last 30 days, I can see our costs started going up. So this one right here that was outperforming, our cost started going up per lead. So we got rid of this one. Now this one here is a video, and it actually does pretty well in terms of our click-through rates and cost per clicks, but it was starting to get more expensive as well, and so that one got turned off, right? This one here was one that had performed well in the past, but we didn't think the messaging was right. So now we've made some adjustments on this one, and nothing's come back through here yet. We just edited this a couple of days ago, which brings me to another, like, what you want to do is make changes and then let it sit for about 3 days and kind of watch what's happening depending on your budget. If you're spending a much higher budget, you can get more. But what we want to do is we want to make sure we're kind of hitting higher reach numbers. Generally, I like to try to get to about 1,000 before I make any changes on some of these. Well, this is just in the last 30 days, so I've had more on this over the lifetime. So I generally want to make sure that we've reached about 1,000 before I can actually see, okay, this is where we're landing, this is where it's working. So our lead ads for these guys used to, you saw the numbers were like really, really awesome. They started to creep back up. So we have now been editing copy, tweaking some imagery, trying out different videos, those kinds of things, because I know that we can continue to get lower price leads. But the other thing that we've done is we do retargeting ads that are set up as conversion ads. And so these ones, we're actually trying a new video ad for them. And what we're getting is more leads that are not leads on Facebook ads, but these are leads that are converting off of an assessment that we're sending. And so this is actually, we're getting better price per lead here. So we've actually shifted over and we're putting more focus on this assessment because the lead ads are not performing quite as well right now. Even on this, what I can see here is my click-through rate is not over 1%. And my cost per click is just barely under $1. So I want to, if my click-through rate isn't here, this means that I'm gonna go tweak the copy and I'm gonna tweak the imagery and I'm gonna see if we can get a higher click-through rate because we know that people are converting, but we want to increase that. So I just totally went off on a tangent. Let me show you. All right, so let me pause here and just ask, I hope that I'm not overwhelming you. If you know Facebook ads, this should be pretty straightforward. If you don't, just simply, honestly, just start with creating great content that you're gonna send people to, try to keep people on your platforms as much as possible, and just do things like a boosted post just to increase views or page interactions, because those are people that what you're doing is building an audience that you can continue to retarget, right? And then do a boosted post for when you're ready to take people with the link, right? That's going to go to your opt-in, it's going to go to your sales page or your registration page or whatever it is. So use boosted posts just to increase people watching stuff on your page. The social algorithms are going to like it, and it's going to build you an audience of people who like you and like your content. Start there. Just do that and then do a simple boosted post to take them off of the platform and put them over. If you're into ads, you can set up structure this way, because I can tell you guys, I hate Facebook ads. The way that they're typically run, here's what's typically run. This right here, we're just gonna do a conversion campaign straight to cold traffic. This does not convert well. These cost per results are typically anywhere low end, like $15 to, I mean, I've seen it as high as 120, right? Depending on kind of the product. So it's totally doable. Running Facebook ads the normal traditional way, just set up a conversion ad, makes it convert less. It's going to cost you more. Still works, going to cost you more. So if you take the time to develop content that people can engage with and build in just a little bit here, I mean, honestly, our traffic campaign, it's $2 a day. That's all we're spending, okay? And with this, we're building a so much more engaged audience that we're able to turn around and do these lead ads and these retargeting that give us a whole lot less expensive ads and leads, right? So I know that I hate Facebook ads, and I've totally had my own horror story. I lost almost $40,000 on Facebook ads. And that's when I was like, I gotta figure out a better way to do this. So who else here has experienced or heard some of the horror stories? Share them in the comments. Please share it. It's insane how screwed so many people get on this, and it's annoying because this is not anything brand new. This is not rocket surgery. You can do this and it will increase the warmness of your audience and it'll decrease your ad cost, right? And that's what we're all after. So please, please, please take advantage. Okay, so let's talk very specifically about the actual ad setup part, okay? So right here, you want to have a very powerful, different headline. And this headline should talk to your audience in a way that's not just calling them completely out, right? But these guys are working with spiritual healers, and so this makes sense for them. It resonates with their audience. We also like to use the emojis in the title here and sometimes in the body copy because it just kind of helps break things up and it kind of catches people's attention. Test both, right? When you're writing the copy, think kindergarten level. Needs to be very simple. We also don't like to put a lot of copy on the images, if any. Very little copy. And try to make them bright or colorful. Create movement. We did these here that are creating movement videos just literally from a quote, right? This is not, we didn't start with a video. It's just, we just built a simple little animated video to animate the copy. And a lot of times the video and movement really helps to create a lot more engagement. There we go, grab your free guide. So this, because this is a paid retargeting one, we're actually including our call to action. We're paying to take them off of the platform and send them over to our opt-in. And then we test out multiple different copy options, and we test out different headlines. You can add in different headline options, and Facebook will determine them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little difficult also to tell which one is totally working. You have to dig into forms and everything. So a lot of times I just like to kind of test them with an individual. And the way that I do that is I include this code right here. So what this does is it's telling Facebook, hey, take the site source name, which is going to be Facebook or Instagram, wherever these are running. Take the medium, which for us, we always put an FD in the medium, and I will show you why in a second. And then we are including the placement of the ad, because these ads all get set up in all these different placement options, right? So knowing which ones actually you're converting is very helpful. And then I want to know the campaign name, that's this campaign out here, the ad set name, which is this right here, sorry, ad set, and then the ad name itself, right, which is this name. So when this stuff shows up on the back end, so what we do is we set all of this up to show up in Google Analytics. And the reason is because I can come into Google Analytics and I can go, hey, where's my traffic coming from? And I can look at this here by source and medium. And then I put in, because I told you we always put FD in the medium, right? In this part right here. This brings through everything that we've been doing. So I can see how many users we're bringing, how many sessions, right? How long they stayed on the site. And I can see where this stuff is coming from. So in this, I can see, okay, mobile feed is pushing this placement right here. This is the placement. We can see that mobile feed is pushing most of our traffic. So that means that over in here, I could actually come in and end up telling our ad set, I want to manually set up the placements and focus just on mobile feed and see if that increases our conversions here. So you're not going to know those things unless you're actually looking at the results and how stuff is coming in. We like to use Google Analytics because we can then look at everything that's happening organic wise, everything that's happening organic from social. So we can see how well traffic is increasing and how much time they're spending on the site and what pages they visit. Gives us a lot better insight into how well our efforts are performing. So let's talk a little bit more in terms of ads here. Okay, so the final thing that I'll say is focus on mobile first. We love having videos. In fact, a lot of times we make our customers record videos and we're like, just hold it up and do it selfie style. And we even leave the mistakes and things in, because the more authentic you show up on camera, the more people are going to resonate, right? And we're using these ads to build an audience and to engage people with your message. So this is going to be the best way that you're going to find an audience. And just focus on, most people are going to be looking at this at mobile. Focus on producing mobile first content. So I've just walked you through a bit of our process on how we deal with Facebook ads specifically, giving you some do's and don'ts and some best practices for kind of how you can set things up and get amazing results. Now, if this all sounds totally amazing but overwhelming, don't worry. We have a concierge service at Formula Done where we call it our evergreen leads machine. We run this process for you every month recurring. We work with you to find out your content and your topics, and then we help create all the SEO value out of it. And then we do all of the creation and posting from social to SEO to ads. So we also have a course. You've heard me talk about that one before, the Content Connection Academy. If you would rather learn how to do this completely on your own and be able to just get involved, just start scratching that surface with ads and how that's going to look. So if you are at all curious about learning more, make sure you check out some of our other videos here on YouTube, as well as our blog at Formula Done. And if you have any questions, reach out to us either way, add a comment, ping us on our website. Love to chat and see if there's anything that we can help you with in terms of your ad setup. And Get it to where you do not have to become or continue to be one of those Facebook horror stories. All right, we'll catch you on the next episode.